Jon Bernthal has been confirmed to appear in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Does this mean we're getting the team up that we always wanted? This is really exciting stuff, let's get into it. At the end of last week, it was confirmed via Hollywood Reporter that Jon Bernthal is set to appear alongside Tom Holland in the highly anticipated sequel of Spider-Man Brand New Day. While it's not confirmed, it's almost certain the case that Charlie Cox will also appear as Daredevil, as you can't just have the Punisher pop up without Daredevil being too far. With more and more details coming out about the production of Spider-Man Brand New Day, it seems to me like we're getting what the fans wanted, and that being a street level based Spider-Man, with Spidey taking on more closer to home situations like in his first outing in Spider-Man Homecoming. With the Punisher set to have his own special presentation on Disney Plus in March 2026, and then Daredevil Born Again Season 2 also releasing in the same month, it seems like the events of these projects may help set up the events of Spider-Man Brand New Day, as all three are native to New York. With Spider-Man Brand New Day now set to appear before Avengers Doomsday, and there wasn't a chair for Tom Holland at that casting announcement, going into the multiverse side of it, does it seem like we're getting a multiverse film now? Probably not. There was lots of rumours regarding Sony and Marvel disagreeing with what this film should be, with Sony wanting to push a more multiverse narrative on the film after the success of No Way Home, and Marvel wanting to take it to the ground level with Spidey. While it's becoming harder to say that Brand New Day is going to be a multiverse film, it seems less and less likely. But that doesn't mean there won't be something multiverse related in the film. They could do what they did with Thunderbolts, in that the film didn't really feature any multiverse elements. It was very contained, but the post-credit scene did kind of feature the multiverse, as the Fantastic Four ship was seen in orbit flying down to Earth. We know that the Fantastic Four is set in an alternative reality. It's very likely that we will see some sort of tease leading into the multiverse, and why Spidey is not appearing in Avengers Doomsday. While nothing has been confirmed for Avengers Secret Wars, which is set after Avengers Doomsday, it's very likely that we'll see Tom Holland reprise his role as Spider-Man in Secret Wars, as there's a lot of speculation that nearly every MCU character is going to have some sort of appearance. We also can't forget that Tony was the closest thing to a mentor for Peter in the MCU. I think it'll be a very interesting thing to see Peter having to deal with his idol being the ultimate evil in the universe, with Robert Downey Jr. coming back into the MCU, but not as Tony Stark, as we know he is coming back as Doctor Doom. In this next segment, me and Callum are going to discuss this topic more in depth with our own thoughts. So, Callum, what are your thoughts on Jon Bernthal just like joining a Spider-Man film? I know he's already, well established and he's come back into the MCU, but in a Spider-Man film, I mean, come on, it's pretty wild that.
Look, this is news I didn't think we would hear at all. Like, we've said this before. You can't put Spider-Man in these characters' worlds, but you can bring these characters into Spider-Man's world. I'm just very confused about how they're going to do that with Punisher, because he is one violent man. A very violent man. Now, look, I'm happy on like a weird personal level for Jon Bernthal and Tom Holland, because they work together great. I think they've done a couple of films together. They've done The Odyssey together at the beginning of this year. They've done another film together in 2015, I think, and they both filmed each other's tapes for their respective Marvel roles. Like, Tom filmed Jon's tape for Punisher, and Jon filmed Tom's tape for Spider-Man while I was on film set together. So it's kind of poetic that they've come together like this. I'm super excited to see Punisher in a Spider-Man film. Just going back to them classic comic stories as well, with them together. It's I'm excited for this.
What do you think about the whole thing of Daredevil and Spidey finally being in like a movie together in full suits? Because obviously they've been together already in No Way Home, but it was just Matt Murdock and it was just Peter, which were perfect. That scene was awesome, and it kind of confirmed that Matt Murdock is now back. But I want to see them both in suits. I want to see them together. And I think this is probably the only opportunity to do so. Marvel aren't going to, skip out on this opportunity, I don't think. I think it's very likely. Because you can't have Punisher, without a bit of Daredevil. because they're both from like the same. They came from the same street, whereas Spidey has always been in the movies. Daredevil, Punisher, they came from the TV era. So, do you think that is now likely to happen in this film? And I'm hoping, like, what is your thoughts on it?
I do think Daredevil's going to be. I mean, we've both thought Daredevil's going to be in this for a long time. It's kind of what they were setting up. The need to do it. Look, I would not be shocked if we hear a casting announcement in the next couple of weeks about Charlie Cox also being in Spider-Man Brand New Day. It just makes sense at this point. It just makes sense. Get Charlie Cox in there, Jon Bernthal, Tom Holland, all three of these guys teaming up. You're making me a very, very happy man with this. Now, look, like you were saying, maybe the events of Daredevil Born Again Season 2 and obviously the Punisher special presentation will lead into this. It's just, yeah, I think there's a rights issue with Kingpin. I think they can't do film stuff with Kingpin for some reason. But yeah, no, get me some Daredevil in there. And you saw my reaction when we saw No Way Home. Just him being a lawyer. Just me smacking my chair, just like, yeah. But no, I think he's going to be in it, and I think we're going to hear within a couple of weeks now. Maybe by the end of this week, that Charlie Cox has also joined the cast of Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Yeah, it's to be seen yet. Like we've said, it's not really confirmed. There's no sort of leak or any sort of rumor. I mean, it's all heavily speculated that Daredevil is now going to be in this film. I believe it though. I do believe it. I just think, how are they going to do it? Are they going to keep it as more of a surprise, or are they going to really market Daredevil to it? Because, speculation got No Way Home quite far without showing Andrew Garfield or even Tobey Maguire in any of the marketing. It was all speculative. People were getting excited. People were just clamoring to get a trailer. So, I mean, do you think that they're going to put Daredevil in the marketing, or do you think they'll leave it a surprise? Or, because you want to have some surprises. But with something like this, that's kind of like, you've got this character in it now. You've got the casting announcement. It's confirmed. Do you think? I think if they showed sort of Punisher in the trailer without saying anything, and that was the surprise, a little bit closer to the film coming out, and kind of repeating what No Way Home did, where it's like, okay, no, this is a real possibility now. Or do you think they're sort of like doing a different tactic, or do you think they're gonna try and replicate what they did with the surprise and the suspense of this character showing up?
Look, as much as it pains me to say, not as many people care about Charlie Cox as Daredevil as they do about Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I think it's a tool in their arsenal that would work well. Marketing the film with it, I think, show Daredevil there, show Spider-Man there, show Punisher there, show them all teaming up together. Obviously, I'm pretty sure it's near enough confirmed as well that Ruffalo's going to be in this as Hulk. So that's another interesting angle. But maybe that they'll leave that as a surprise in it. But I think you can only do this film good by marketing, your street level heroes as it, doing their thing, being street level heroes together. I don't see any benefit of hiding Daredevil from being in this film. There was definitely benefits to doing it in No Way Home because it was a small scene and it got people. It was a nice surprise for the fans of the Netflix show when it happened. But we know he's in this world now. We know, he's had his show. He's going to have a season 2 of his show. We'd have seen him quite a bit by the time this comes out. I know this topic's about Punisher and it's official that Punisher's coming, but I think that means it's official that Daredevil's coming as well. And I think they need to market it on that. Show people that this isn't a big superhero film. This is a street level sort of film that we're going to get, a year? We're a year out now, near enough.
July it's coming out, if I'm not wrong. Yeah.
So, look, we're a year out, and I feel like, we're going to hear pretty soon. Charlie's in it. They'll mark it on that. and I think it'll only do them good.
I don't know, I've kind of like rounded this off. We spoke about it before we filmed, but um, it's pretty dead set that this film isn't going to be multiversal related now. I think personally that the post credit scene will be the only multiverse segment of the film. I don't see them having any room if they're having to deal with Spider-Man's world mixing with the TV world and then trying to add a multiverse world on top of it. I just don't see that being plausible. I think it'll be way too much. It's too many characters, it's too many story plots they're trying to thread through. I would love them to just focus on that, and the post-credit scene can be whatever it needs to be. If it needs to be multiversal, if it doesn't, whatever it does, I want it to be street level. I think everybody agrees this film, if it's multiversal, it's not going to make much money. Not as many people are going to be excited about it because they've kind of done it already. You don't want to tread the same path twice. So I think doing it as street level as possible with these characters, bringing in Charlie Cox's Daredevil, bringing in Jon Bernthal's Punisher. Hopefully they can figure something out with the rights of Kingpin, because, I mean, you look at Spidey and Marvel and they had all sorts of issues with, legal rights of having the character in the MCU, and there's been loads of bumps along that road. But we've managed to, they've managed to sort out between them what's the, what can, you can't say it's not possible, because it is. So maybe Kingpin is the surprise or something like that. I'm sure they'll figure out the rights, but where's like, where are you with that, the whole multiverse or street thing? Do you want it to be this? Do you want it to be that? Or do you want it, how do you think it'll pan out?
I actually think we're getting a mix of both. I don't think it's going to be heavily multiversal. I think there might be a character in it who may be a multiversal character, but the story is not multiversal at all. And I don't think we'll find out that this character's multiversal maybe until the end of the film. So that's what I believe. But what this does open the door for, like you say, the post-credit scene at the end of this film, I don't think it'll lead into Doomsday. The post-credit scene for this film, I think we might get a tease a little bit, like we did with Thunderbolts. We got a little bit of a tease of the aftermath of Fantastic Four, but still leaves you going, well, what the fuck's happened? I think we'll get a little bit of a tease of what's happened after Doomsday, and it'll be like, well, what the fuck's happened? And then we'll lead into it, and then we'll see how we got to that point. And I now see this as a device. These two, I keep saying these two being in this film like it's confirmed. Punisher's in the film, confirmed. But if they're both in it, I see this as a brilliant way to get them both in Secret Wars, Avengers Secret Wars. And Tom comes through with his street level team. And he's like, yeah, I've got Frankie kills people and Matt just punches people. But yeah, like I think that's how they'll do it. But Kyle, I've got a question for you. How do you think they're going to handle the violence of this? Because Frank is one violent guy, and we saw in Daredevil Born Again that they did not hold back with that violence one bit. But I was listening to the showrunners, and they was on about we're not glorifying it. We need to let people know that when Frank's doing it, he's letting this monster out, and you can see it in his face with the noises he makes and everything. We take the piss about the grunts, but it's just but he's letting some out. Will we see Daredevil be violent? Look, you don't need rated R for action, but I would say these two characters live in a world of violence, not a world of action. So how do you think they're gonna get around that?
It's interesting, obviously, because the Spider-Man film will have to tailor to a younger audience, so you can't really. There's no way we'll ever get an R-rated Spider-Man film unless it's like something like Spider-Man Noir or something like that. I just never see that happening. With obviously having the Punisher there, it's like, how are they gonna do this? Because you've got this character that it's already established. He is designed for the R-rated world, and even when Deadpool came to Disney and they were making Deadpool and Wolverine, it were like, we can't do this third film without it being R-rated. It has to have that R rating because that's part of the character. You know, the humor, the action style that they go for. Obviously, the violence is part of the action, so you can't really do that for that. So it really does spark a very interesting question. I think you're gonna see them push it to the. I don't want to say push it to the limit, but they're definitely going to push it in terms of how far they can show what for what the Punisher does, his actions. I think there'll be a lot of jokes between the characters. I think Spidey's going to do what kind of like what Cap did for the Winter Soldier. It's like the Winter Soldier is in kill mode no matter what when we first sort of are introduced to that character. And in Civil War, he's like holding it back. He's like, "Come on, man! Like, pull it back a bit." I think that's kind of the thing we'll see. Because you look at the Winter Soldier, he's very a violent character, but they managed to make it work without the R rating, and he's still. It's like you look at Punisher and the Winter Soldier. They're kind of like on the same. It feels like they're on the same plane when it comes to the violent acts that they commit. But again, Marvel have managed to suss it out and figure it out. So it's hard to say, but I'm quite interested on the action between Spidey and the Punisher. I think it'll be something new, something fresh. Which is it's like, yeah, if you get Daredevil, this is something new. But you had the Punisher in the mix, and it's like, okay, we don't know what the hell is going to happen with this film. We don't know what direction it's going to take. We don't know what for what. It makes it more surprising. And I think that's one of the main things that's really exciting for this film now. The more I'm hearing about this movie, Column, the more I'm like, I'm all in. Like, you've got me. I'm hooked. Yeah, just exciting to look forward to now.
Yeah, look, I'm completely with you. I'm excited for this film now in a way where it's like we've got this one confirmed member of cast, and it's like, oh my god, this is gonna be fucking great now. Because Bernthal as Punisher is like perfect casting. It's great seeing him shoot people and throw axes into people's head and disembowel them, stuff like that. But still, the best scenes with Punisher, and again, for Daredevil Born Again, the best scenes with Punisher is when he's having conversations and he's letting his point of view be known about stuff. He's he's such a great actor, such an underrated actor as well. I think Bernthal. He were great this year in The Accountant too. When we saw that, he was fantastic in that. Another thing I want to add is, do you think Daredevil will see like Spider-Man will be Daredevil to Daredevil that is he is to Frank, if you know what I mean. Like Peter might think Matt's going a bit too far, like breaking limbs and stuff like that, and he might be like, whoa. He's like, yo, it's not, it's easier for you. You're so much stronger than everyone. You don't have to hurt them.
I think it'll. I'm guessing there'll be some sort of joke where it's like what that like Peter just reacting to how Daredevil and Punisher do their thing, and it's like, what is with you guys like? And it's it cuts to a scene maybe like Spidey's had him webbed up and the waiting for the police or whatever, and then there's just after what Daredevil and Punisher do, just a bunch of broken limbs on the floor and. Not just like people beating up really really bad, and it's like Peter's like, you didn't have to go that far. I could have just webbed them up, and it's like, and Punisher's like, they deserved it, or well, Daredevil could be like, I had no choice, and then Punisher's like, they just deserved it, like just something like that. I think it'll be really it'll be an interesting dynamic, and I think it's something that's new and fresh for the Spider-Man character, because with Spider-Man it's like you can retread all you want with his origin and reshuffle things about, but when you give something new, that's when real excitement, real mystery can come from a movie. It's the excitement about it, it's the magic about it. So yeah, this is just exciting stuff. I don't think as soon as I saw what you sent me, the article, I was like, it's happening. Again, this isn't confirmed, but this is just us having a discussion about it. But I think that'll might do us there. To be fair, anything else you want to add to it?
Yeah, just wanna say one thing I don't want to see is I don't want to see him give the Punisher like rubber bullets or some bollocks like that. I don't think they will. I don't think they will, but that is just one thing I don't want to see. Let Frank be Frank. You don't have to see the violence. Let's just experience the violence from Peter's eyes.
I agree. Rubber bullets are a big no-no. Will kind of kill the immersion, if you will, and just kind of ruin that side of the character and kind of make it pointless. Then you don't want to do that. But hopefully they're not. Hopefully, again, I agree with what you said. We see it through Peter's eyes. Maybe there will have to be some camera cutaways and maybe just some screaming audio of a guy getting killed. It's like, fine, you have to do it. Is what it is.
I just want to point out one more thing as well. It's crazy that these two characters debuted within a month of each other. Jon in Punisher, Jon in Daredevil season 2, which came out in March of 2016, and then for us, April 2016, we've got our first look of Thomas Peter Parker. So the fact that they've come up together and they're doing this together finally, if you told me that in 2016, I'd have gone, nah, I don't think so. Even lately, if you'd have said it, I'd have gone, nah, I don't think so, but it's happening and I'm so fucking happy.
Yeah, I think we're in for a good time, Callum, at the cinema. But that's it for us. We're a little late to the topic, I know, but we're working on some stuff. We're rejigging the channel a little bit. We're gonna try pump out some new stuff, have a bit more quality over quantity, and just try new things. Let us know what you think. Drop us a comment. Let us know what you think about Jon Bernthal. What does this mean for the Daredevil character? What does this mean for Spider-Man Brand New Day? We're going to do a weekly roundup, hopefully at the end of this week, where we're going to go over some topics and have a new idea, have a new video idea out, something fresh. But yeah, like, follow, subscribe. Callum, are you going to say your share us to you? No? Okay. Share us with your mother, whatever it is. And that'll be us. Cool. Then you say
it. Share us with your mother?
That's maybe not gross. That. It's show us to your mother. Yeah. Right.